Would you raise your right hand, please, ma'am? Do you swear from the testimony you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If you could please take a seat and adjust the microphone so you're speaking loudly into it. And could you tell us your first and last name and please spell it?
My name is Valencia Johnson, VALENCIA JOHNSON.
Where do you work, ma'am?
I work at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation as a lab technician in the trace evidence section.
How long have you worked at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
5 years.
What is the trace evidence section?
So the trace evidence section is where we collect materials. So trace evidence are materials that are usually microscopic in nature that can be transferred between persons and objects when they come in contact with each other.
What are your duties in the trace evidence section?
My main duty is the collection and preservation of trace evidence, primarily hair and fiber, which is called processing.
Were you working in that capacity at the GBI in February of this year?
Yes, I was.
And you're still working in that capacity today?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to your case number 2024-100-5107. What are the individuals associated with that case number?
Laken Riley and Jose Ibarra.
And when an individual or when items of evidence come into the crime lab associated with an individual, are they given their unique case number?
Yes.
And is the unique case number for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation for the murder of Laken Riley 2024-100-5107?
Yes.
And when items of evidence come into the GBI, then do you all give them a case number inside the GBI? The items of evidence individually, meaning if I send you 100 items of evidence for Laken Riley, do you number them in the crime lab?
It's all the same case, but they get unique numbers.
So under that same case number, each item of evidence would have a unique case number?
Yes.
So with that background, I want to ask you a few questions about items of evidence that you observed and saw and processed in this case. I want to first ask you about some gloves, black gloves and a jacket that you received. And just for the ease, if you needed your February 2026 report. Did you receive 3 black gloves and a navy jacket?
Yes.
Could you tell the court, first of all, on what day did you receive those items and what are those item numbers for the GBI? If you need to refresh your recollection with your report, just let us know that.
Okay. I received those items on February 23rd, 2024.
What is the GBI number for the 3 black gloves that you received?
Item 2.
And what is the GBI number for the jacket?
Item 3.
I am going to hand you some evidence that has already been admitted. And here's some gloves if you need them. I'm going to hand you first what has already been admitted as State's Exhibit 149. And since I'm already up here and I don't want to move back, 147, I'm going to put at your feet, okay? So first, starting with State's Exhibit 149, do you see your name and initials on that exhibit?
Yes, I do.
And what is the item, the GBI item number for that exhibit?
It's item 2.
And are there 3 black gloves inside of that exhibit? Look at those.
Yes, there are.
Were you the first person at the crime lab to receive those gloves?
I was the first person to work on the gloves.
And to work on those gloves, or when you worked on those gloves, first of all, what did you do to those 3 gloves?
I processed them for possible hair and or fiber.
And how did you do that?
I looked at them under a stereo microscope.
And what did you do with the things that you may have, or did you recover anything from these?
I recovered possible hair and or fiber from item 2A and item 2B.
And that's a good point. Did you give the gloves an individual association 2A, 2B, and 2C?
Yes, I did. I sub-itemized them.
And did you observe the condition of the gloves when you received them at the crime lab?
Yes, I did.
What were the condition of these gloves when you received them?
The gloves were damaged. They had holes and possible stretching.
When you say holes, might be a silly question, but what do you mean by holes?
There's like a hole in the item, so the outside, you can get inside them through that hole.
Okay, you could see through them.
Yes.
All right. And after you processed the gloves, where did they go in your agency from there?
They were transferred to the forensic biology section.
What do they do in forensic biology in general?
In general, so they test for serology, which are fluids, and DNA.
Okay. And when you received the gloves and you observed the holes and you collected items of evidence from it, did they pass on to forensic biology?
The collected materials, we keep them in our section.
But the gloves themselves went on to forensic biology?
Yes.
All right. The jacket, did you receive, it's at your feet, if you could look at that. I think it states 147. And do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
Did you process that item at your laboratory?
Yes.
And what did you do to the jacket states 147?
I processed the jacket by tape lifting it, except for the neckline and cuffs, and I did a visual with a magnifying glass on those areas.
Did you observe hair on that jacket?
So we don't usually note where possible hair and or fiber is on the item exactly, because it can move around in the bag, but there was possible hair and or fiber collected.
Okay. And do you recall seeing it on the jacket when you collected it?
Yes.
And the hair that you collected off that jacket, what did you do with it?
They were packaged and kept in our section in case it was requested for them to be analyzed by a hair or fiber analyst.
And looking at that jacket, do you recall where on the jacket you saw hair?
I do remember one place where there was possible hair and or fiber around a button.
And the jacket, when it left you, after you processed it, where does it go from after leaving you?
After leaving me, it was transferred to the forensic biology section.
Did you have the opportunity at your laboratory to look at the clothing of Laken Riley?
Yes, I did.
Did you find a key in Laken Riley's clothing?
Yes.
Where did you find her key?
I found the key in her jacket.
Did you have the opportunity to process the fingernail clippings of Laken Riley?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to hand you what we are marking for evidence of states 319.
Say the number again.
319. We have lots of things marked already in between, like photographs, and we will link this up with the medical examiner who's outside. States 319. Do you recognize states 319?
Yes, I do.
Do you see your unique GBI case number that is associated with Laken Riley on states 319?
Yes,
And do you see your initials on 319?
I do.
What item number within that case number did you assign, or the GBI assign, the fingernail clippings of Laken Riley?
Item 18.
And what did you do, and is that what you're holding right in front of you, item 18?
Yes.
The state would move to admit states 319 and link it up with the medical examiner behind her.
Any objection to 319?
I just think it's premature. No objection.
Do you see your initials on 319?
Yes.
Are they at the bottom there?
Yes.
Okay, let me just show it to the court. So what did you do to states 319?
I looked at the item under a stereo microscope.
And what, if anything, did you observe when you did that?
I observed the nail clippings, but I did not find any possible hair under fiber.
So no hair or fibers underneath the fingernails?
No.
And did you look at the right hand and the left hand?
Yes.
All right. And if you had found hair or fibers, where would they have gone?
They would have been collected and kept within the trace evidence section.
I'm going to ask you a few more questions about a few more of the items. Did you look at a cutting from a tree?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do to the cutting from the tree?
I performed a visual with a magnifying glass and removed any possible hair under fiber I found.
And I'm going to hand you, and did you look at some rocks?
Yes.
So I'm going to hand you all those items at the same time. What's already been admitted. What's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 89. And what's already been admitted as States 87 and 88. And again, my numbers are very different than your numbers. If you could first with 89, do you recognize States 89?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is the cutting from a tree.
And did you process that in the trace evidence section?
Yes, I did.
And just so we can be clear, what GBI item number was States 89 or is States 89?
Item 24.
Item 24 for the GBI.
Yes.
All right. And did you, what if anything did you discover on that exhibit, States 89?
I removed possible hair under fiber.
And was that sent on to, where was that stuff sent on to?
After I was done, it was transferred to the forensic biology section.
And then States Exhibits 87 and 88. Do you recognize those items? And you can actually take them out. Do you, first of all, do you recognize your signature on those items?
Yes, I recognize my initials.
And do you recognize your unique GBI case number?
Yes, I do.
And if you could tell us for States 88, which is in your left hand, what is your GBI case item number for that one?
Item 23.
And in States 87, what is your GBI item number for that?
Item 22, sorry.
So 22 and 23. And what are these items physically? And if you need to, you can open them up and look at them. Do you need to?
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead. I'll open one. You can open the other. I opened one with the States 88, you're opening 87. So 87, did you see that item?
yes, I did.
And what did you do with States 87 at the lab?
I performed a visual exam using a magnifying glass and removed any possible hairs and or fibers I found.
And did you see hairs on that item?
Possible hairs and or fibers.
Thank you for correcting me. Possible hairs, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did those hairs go on to your trace evidence section?
Yes.
Thank you. And then I'll put that back in while you look at States 88. I'm going to ask you the same question about States 88. What did you do to States 88?
I processed this item by performing a visual exam using a magnifying glass, and I removed any possible hairs and or fibers I found.
And did you find possible hairs or fibers on that?
Yes, I did.
And did those go on to your trace evidence section?
Yes.
May I have one moment, Your Honor? I believe those are my questions, except for one final thing. The key that you found in Laken Riley's jacket, did you know what color it was in your report?
It was pink.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Other questions in?
Ms. Johnson, hello. Just a couple questions, please. The gloves that you mentioned, did you photograph them?
No, I did not.
The damage or the hole that you testified about, did you measure that at all?
No.
And then what about the possible hair or fiber that you collected from the other items? Do you photograph that when you remove it from the item?
No.
Thank you.
Were they photographed by the forensic biology section, the gloves?
Yes, they were.
All right, thank you, that's all I
Can she be excused?
have. Yes, sir.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Call your next witness.
Alexander Colvin.